August the 27th, Mark 7:33. And he took him aside from the multitude. Paul not only stood the test in Christian activity, but in the solitude of captivity. You may stand the strain of the most intense labor, coupled with severe suffering, and yet break down utterly when laid aside from all religious activities, when forced into close confinement in some prison house. That noble bird, soaring the highest above the clouds and enduring the longest flights, sinks into despair when in a cage where it's forced to beat its helpless wings against its prison bars. You have seen the great eagle languish in its narrow cell with bowed head and drooping wings. What a picture of the sorrow of inactivity. Paul is in prison. That was another side of life. Do you want to see how he takes it? I see him looking out over the top of his prison wall and over the heads of his enemies. I see him write a document and sign his name, not the prisoner of Festus, nor of Caesar, nor the victim of the Sanhedrin, but the prisoner of the Lord. He saw only the hand of God in it all. To him the prison becomes a palace. Its corridors ring with shouts of triumphant praise and joy. Restrained from the missionary work he loved so well, he now built a new pulpit, a new witness stand, and from that place of bondage come some of the sweetest and most helpful ministries of Christian liberty. What precious messages of light come from those dark shadows of captivity. Think of the long train of imprisoned saints who have followed in Paul's wake. For 12 long years, Bunyan's lips were silenced in Bedford jail. It was there that he did the greatest and best work of his life. There he wrote the book that's been read next to the Bible. He says, "I was at home in prison, and I sat down and wrote for joy did make me write." The wonderful dream of that long night has lighted the pathway of millions of weary pilgrims. That sweet-filled French lady, Madame Guyon, lay long between prison walls. Like some caged birds that sing the sweeter for their confinement, the music of her soul has gone out far beyond the dungeon walls and scattered the desolation of many drooping hearts. Oh, the lovely consolation that is poured forth from places of solitude. Taken aside by Jesus to feel the touch of his hand, to rest for a while in the shadow of the rock in a weary land. Taken aside by Jesus in the loneliness dark and drear, where no other comfort may reach me than his voice in my heart so dear. Taken aside by Jesus to be quite alone with him, to hear his wonderful tones of love mid the silence and shadows dim. Taken aside by Jesus, shall I shrink from the desert place when I hear as I never heard before and see him face to face?